So we have an apartment next door to them. We share a lot of common areas with them.
And you folks were actually friends before they moved in, right?
Yeah.
Every courtroom tells a story, and today's case is no exception. From powerful testimony to unexpected developments, this hearing has everyone watching closely. You're on Mr. B.E. Plays, where we bring you the key moments, expert-style analysis, and the context behind the courtroom drama. Let's begin.
So we have an apartment next door to them. We share a lot of common areas with them.
And you folks were actually friends before they moved in, right?
Yes.
In fact, you're the one that gave them your landlord's number or your landlord their number so that they could move in next door. And okay, so how did it go once they moved in next door?
So I mean, I understand kids can be kids. You know, I have children as well.
How many kids do you have?
So I have 3 children.
How old?
12, 4, and 1 year. Our daughter just turned 1.
And how many kids do you have?
5.
And what's the age span?
11, 9, 6, 4, and a year-old.
You done?
Yeah. Our boy was the last one. So.
All right, and they all live with you. They're all right. And where's Jennifer?
Jennifer's home with the kids because school, and we didn't have nobody that could watch them.
Okay. So what happens after they move in? Kids will be kids, but what happens?
So I mean, there's just been little instances here and there. You know, at one point we shared a garage, a 2-bay garage. So one half was theirs, the other half was ours. You know, there was just little things here and there. Like my husband had a cornhole board that got broken. So you know, it's a little expensive to replace. Just little things like that. You know, like tools were being thrown around and stuff like that. You know, my husband had came to Damon, and let him know, hey, listen, this got broken, and it was kind of like, oh well. What can I do about it?
But what evidence did you have that it was their kids and not your kids?
At that time, I didn't have any evidence.
Okay.
So, I kind of just let it be, let it go because both of our children were out there. It wasn't really much to prove. The only reason I'm even really pursuing this is because I can prove. Like little things. I've noticed little scratches on my car here and there, crown at one point, but I just...
What do you mean crown?
Crown, like pink crown, like on the hood of the
car.
Crayon? Yeah,
okay.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. I didn't know what you meant. All right.
So, like, just little things like that, but, I mean, I couldn't...
Who's watching the kids when because they're little? I mean, well,
right.
Because I don't think a 12-year-old is going to be drawing with crayon on a car. It's going to be one of the tiny ones. So who's watching the kids out there?
So, I mean, we have, like I said, we have a common area. So a lot of times, like, I'm in or out, they're in or out.
Is it fenced in or no?
Yes, it is a fenced in backyard.
All right, go on.
This particular instance,
Are the cars in the backyard?
Yes.
Okay.
We never had an issue. Like I said, I couldn't prove.
We've got crayon on the cars.
But I mean, anytime that there's something that got brought up, we tried to deal with it, amicably as adults. So this particular instance, I had just got back from dropping my 2 boys off with their father. So they're from a previous. So the marking was not there when I left.
Okay.
I came home, came back inside, came back outside. Me and him were going grocery shopping or something, and came back out to the damages on the vehicle.
Okay. And who had been out there, or you didn't know?
My children were out there earlier, like before we had left. I don't know, that was the argument, was her children weren't outside, so it couldn't have been her children.
What was written on your car?
It says Monday with a heart, and there's like a line. I don't know if you can see, but there's a line underneath of it.
Yeah, I can see it just fine. What do you think it was made with? Can you tell?
Rock. There's a lot of like debris, like rocks laying around, so that's what I believe it was done with.
Was it a Monday?
It was a Friday.
Oh.
It wasn't Monday.
No, I'm like wondering why someone's celebrating Monday.
Yes. I don't
Jeez. What kind of car is this?
It is a 2013 Hyundai Santa Fe Sport that I'm still paying for. I'm still financing.
Okay, at this point in time, how is your relationship with each other?
It was a little strained.
Okay.
Not really
because I'm like, when they move in, it's Lucy, Ricky, Fred, and Ethel.
Right.
And then when does it get strained? Because of the kids?
Not really particularly because of the children. Just his wife and I became really close friends. And it was more so just like the things with the kids. We had shared a garage, so it was like, every time, we had differences on making the payment on the garage. And then I kind of feel like it just escalated. And then this was like the icing on the cake of things. It was already kind of strange.
So who said what to whom once you walked out and saw that?
So I told my husband, I really think that you should say something to him. Jennifer and I are friends. I don't really, want to.
Are the boys friends or not really?
Yeah, I mean, yes, but not. I wouldn't say as close as
the
Jennifer and I.
Okay.
So I asked my husband, do you think that you could say something? So we were actually pulling out, and we have a porch. So he was getting ready to text message him when he just so happened to be walking outside. So Chris gets out of the car, and the car is parked like, on an angle where you can see the damage. And Chris says, one of the kids scratched the car, her car out here. And he didn't say anything. He turned around, went back in the house, and called Jennifer. So we sat there for a couple minutes, not too long, but just waiting for someone to come in, look at it, and just have an adult conversation, which never happened.
So does she ever call you, or she doesn't call you?
No,
You guys
we've not ever had any face-to-face discussions really about the matter.
No face-to-face?
No face-to-face. She won't talk to me face-to-face.
So this relationship is pretty wrecked.
It's destroyed. And, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't do petty, Your Honor, and we're here as a result of the end of pettiness.
What do you mean?
First, with the garage, they had the garage. Yeah, I would sometimes be late. I lost my job. My wife was the only one working. I'm home with the kids, so we would sometimes be late. So we would work out. Oh, hey, we'll pay you late. Whatever. Mr. Harris had messaged me and said, hey, the landlord said you got to get your stuff out the garage, which I didn't understand. She leased the garage. It was in her name, so I didn't understand why the landlord had anything to do with that.
They're just saying that because it's less awkward than saying, if you're not going to pay on time, you need to get your stuff out.
Yeah, which I understand.
Right, which makes perfect sense. If you're not going to pay on time, then get out.
I never denied that with them.
Right? So how is that petty on their part if you're late all the time?
It's not just, maybe not late all the time, maybe once here or there, but what it really comes down to is their relationship was strained. When me and my wife, our relationship was strained, Rachel was there for my wife. I appreciate that. But when I came back into the picture and tried to work stuff out with my wife.
So you don't necessarily approve of him as a mate for your friend?
I wouldn't say necessarily, but I don't think that has anything to do with anything that has happened to my car moving forward.
It does, though.
It has to do with maybe the relationship between the two of them, but maybe not with the car. Did one of your kids do that to her car? Yes or no?
None of my kids ever admitted to it. I use process of elimination that one of my kids, there's only one kid that spells Monday with a U. Jasmine is not the daughter that she doesn't admit to her wrongs. It all happened in a matter of 30 seconds where she was out the house, snuck out, done it.
Wait, so one of your daughters did it?
I don't have proof that she did it.
She never admitted she did it?
She never came out her mouth and said she did it. We told them that Jasmine did it based on the fact that I have these many kids. This is the one kid that spells it with a U.
Look, I'm sorry. I just talked to Jasmine. She admitted to doing it. Take a look at that text that your wife sent. I don't know WTF is wrong with her or how she managed that.
When she's saying she admitted it, it's admitted it more on, Jasmine, did you do this? No answer, no silence. Where normally if my kids...
Well, that's not what she said. She said that Jasmine admitted it.
Okay.
I'm just reading it.
I know, and
Hey, I'm sorry, girl. I'm not trying to cause any more problems for you guys. I don't have much money for you to fix it at the moment, but I guess you can add it to the tab. Add it to the tab, why?
Add it to the tab being... going back to what he was saying, our relationship did become strained. It was not the fact that, everybody has their faults. Whatever their relationship problems were their relationship problems. I was a good friend. I was there for her. That's beside the point. The tab being they still owed me money for the garage. And at this point, I just felt taken advantage of because I was there for her many, many times as a friend. And, my car got damaged and it was kind of just throw it on the tab. That's another thing that went wrong.
Actually, I seldom see... Hey, let me take that back. One of my kids just confessed, and let me tell you about how my kid confessed. I never see that.
For after this, I think the day after or something, I can't remember exactly. I'm going to get it looked at. We were still civil. I understand. In
fact, you gave me a series of texts, and then she gave me a series of texts. And I actually see, and I think it was in her text, I see this effort on both your parts to kind of patch it up. You are the one who started it.
Yes.
You are the one who reached down and gave the olive branch, is what I mean.
Yes.
And then what happened? Neither one of you walked out of your apartments and hugged and kissed and you just texted? How old are you?
I'm about to be 32.
And how old's your wife?
She'll be 28 this next month.
Yeah, this is a problem. This is the problem with when you talk to somebody face to face, you know what happens? Empathy. You look into their eyes, you see the tears forming, and you interpret what is coming out of their mouth a different way than if you read it and give it your own spin because you're angry and there's baggage and whatever else, right?
Absolutely.
So for some people, it's not worth it. Just stay away from each other and communicate by text with your neighbor who you hate and everything else. But for two people who are really good friends, that's when you put your little phones down into their cradles or their chargers, and then you walk outside and have a cup of coffee or scotch or a glass of wine or whatever it is and commiserate about the 8 children that live 10 feet from each other.
Right.
Because you guys it's kind of you guys against them, right? And there's, I saw what you guys said about your kids back and forth.
We bonded on that.
You bonded on the concept. I don't know whether to say it out loud or not because it sounds so bad, but I'm a mother, so I totally get it.
Yes.
Right? Our kids are little blah blah blahs, and it's just a shame that you have somebody in your same position right next door, and and you guys can't just talk to each other. I was really hoping she would be here and you would stay home and take care of the kids.
I know, but I was the one who the letter for the certified letter was mailed to first. And
Yeah, but-
I'm the one that dealt with her as to working it out and trying.
Well, what happened with the attempt to work it out?
I had talked to Chris. Chris told me about it. I didn't walk in the house to ignore them. There's 5 kids in my house. There's a lot going on. They had just got home from school. It was
Whose
chaos.
fault is that?
That's ours.
Okay. I would say 5 kids in my house, Judge.
I never say it's not. I'm enduring it.
I understand, but you're not enduring it. You brought them into the world, and you don't need to be impolite by turning your back and walking away when they.
And I agree that was wrong.
Yeah, that was rude.
I do agree that was wrong. So I talked to Chris, and he had stated to me, I guess my brother can get some stuff to kind of buff it out. I'm going to talk to him, and I said, okay, that's fine.
Did anybody ever try to buff it out?
No.
No, because it's.
Why didn't they try, though?
If you rub it, you could feel that it's in the paint.
Pretty much. People who do that know that when it's deep enough, and sometimes not even that deep is deep enough, but I got to be honest with you, that one looks deep enough.
Yeah.
And so what happens then? You take it to the dealership, and it's how much?
So I took it to Tomlin Brothers, which is a place that's reputable in our neighborhood, and I had them look at everything, and I got an estimate. And she explained to me that the people that looked at it explained to me the position of where it is being on the door and being on the side. The reason why it is so much is because they said that they would have to blend the entire paint on that
side
to match.
Right, but it's not painting the whole car.
No,
it's $1,600 is the body work for just solving the problem.
No,
yes,
and blending the. Let me see the entire estimate.
Yes,
the $1,600 in the estimate was to paint the entire vehicle.
How do you know?
Because she sent me the estimate and a certified
Okay, so let's
letter.
see. Did you ever try to pay somebody to see if they could buff it out?
No, because he told me he was going to see what his brother.
Yeah, no, but his brother-in-law said no, and if you're maintaining that this should be able to be done cheaper because it'll buff right out, why didn't you then pay somebody the $100 to detail it to see if it buffs right out?
I tried to offer to do that, but they never said they would, or I can't do that without the vehicle or something.
No, I know, but if someone had said to you, "Hey, let's try this first and see if it works," would you have said, "No way"?
It would have been better. It would have been nice to even have it acknowledged. I was never
have it offered.
I was never offered.
All right. When this first happened, one of your kids, like you actually lived next door to each other when you gave birth.
Yes.
To the last ones.
Yes, we were pregnant at the same time.
Right. And then one of your kids turned 1 first. Which one?
Theirs did.
And did they have a little party or something? Or
Not that I'm aware of.
I know one of the things you said in your text was, "I can't believe I missed the first birthday because I really thought our children would be friends for life." It was so painful to read. And then she said, please invite me to your kids first or something like that. Well, that was like the perfect opportunity for you to actually.
Their children came. Children came.
But
they
she didn't?
But no.
Because things were still stressed?
So I reached out to her. I'm sure you've seen the text messages, trying, to apologize for my part of things because things escalated far more than they should have. I felt very hurt because I thought they were my friends. And I feel like it could have been handled way differently. I did give them an opportunity to pay towards it. They explained to me, I don't have it all at once, which I understand, and I expressed that. But when I said, okay, look, we need to figure out how much, I already have to hunt you down for the garage money. I didn't want to have to keep doing that. That was what was already.
How many times had they been late on the garage money?
Quite a few.
What's quite a few, 2 or 8?
Probably almost every month.
So how many is that? I don't know how many months it was.
Well, we've been there for almost 2 years.
We had it for a little over a year.
So 6 months.
Okay.
Which, wasn't an issue. It's just things like that. When I wanted what was owed to me, I was then being petty, I guess.
Right.
So I had reached out, and.
But what happened when you two are reaching out to each other with this sisterly love on these texts? What happens? Just you both stay in each other's houses and you don't talk to each other?
I tried to get her to come out, and, I've offered that. I've extended the branch, as you said, to try to make amends of things.
But it sounded like you guys were making amends.
But it's
that's
only
why I was like, wait, it's like I'm reading a novel and the last 30 pages are missing. And I've invested all this time, and I really want to know how it ends.
Right.
You know,
it's always me reaching out. And
so it just kind of got left in the air with those texts.
Yeah, like, you know, I've texted her since then. I mean, I just texted her the other day, like, I'm thinking of you.
And what does she say when
she
you do?
ignores me? She blatantly
Now she ignores you, but she wasn't ignoring you then. And the stuff I read,
I don't know if that, you know, if she was just trying to keep the peace because of it. I don't know. I've tried.
Listen, you guys live there. I don't. I don't think it's in anyone's best interest to have this kind of chilly relationship with your neighbors, especially when your kids are all enmeshed like this, and especially when. Really, because you guys were such good friends. Right. That's really what's sad, because I can see the pain and the hurt. And when you say, my wife doesn't do petty, that doesn't help the situation.
That came out wrong.
Yeah, it did. Right, it did.
Like you said, with the relationship, it does pain me.
It's a shame because it's also for your children. Your children, you want to have another mother watching your kids and reporting to you. You want that. Do something. You guys do something. Fix it. Nah, nobody's trying that hard. I know she's trying that. I do know. She is trying because I can see over and over when she's trying. But I think that both sides should try again. And drop me a line. Send me a picture of the 8 children and the 4, just, I don't know, make me happy. Nobody ever follows up on that. Either that or my staff doesn't give it to me.
It was the greatest summer of both of our friendships. I mean, we met on a camping trip through another friend. We hit it off, but our kids was, as you said, bleeps. So we
bonded,
right? Over thinking your kids are blah blah blah.
We bonded over that at the campfire, and then after that, the year, I regardless of what happened with this, I valued our friendship. You know what I mean? I'm always, my wife is I know there's a lot going on in your house. Very stubborn.
Well, your wife needs to unstubborn herself, and I read your wife's text. I don't know if you did. But your wife is in pain, and
I know.
And she's not. She doesn't come off on these texts as stubborn.
No,
she didn't. She came off as, I also want to patch it. So I have a question for you. Are you stopping her from patching?
No, Your Honor.
Because that would be nuts for your wife and your kids.
No, Your Honor. I love them. I think a lot of it has to do with my, I could be a better husband. I don't do as much as I should with the kids. My wife works 10 hours a day, comes home, still helps me with the kids. A lot of that is on me. I should be a better husband for her. And when I wasn't, Rachel was there for her. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want us to not be friends. Like, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be where we're at now. You know what I mean? Like, I was on the verge of losing everything, and Rachel was like, my landlord can help you out. Give me a text. And we had an awesome summer that year back there. You know what I mean? Being friends and our kids together and growing up and playing. And, like, this is not what I want. You know what I mean? When they had a party for their daughter the other day, and, it's everything's just so strange. I don't want to go out there. She invited my son to come over. I go over with him. It's just awkward. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't what I want. I don't want to be here being sued because my daughter made a mistake. You know what I mean? I want to go camping and, to water parks and stuff like we planned on doing.
Right. So then when your daughter admits to having done it, then there should have been some effort to pay, right? And look, people make mistakes,
Absolutely.
And a 6-year-old, she doesn't have the mental capacity at 6 to.
I have behavioral children, so I definitely understand.
Oh, even just like a not behavioral issue 6-year-old doesn't have them, but the parents are supposed to be supervising the children, and so I am going to hold the parents liable. I'm not going to hold them liable for the hood, though. Okay. So I've done the calculations and removed the hood. And so in a minute, I'm going to tell you what my ruling is and what portion of this bill I feel you're responsible for. There's a bigger picture here, and I know what's in your soul because God bless text. You guys, well, for me, as evidence, but you guys need to rely less on it and more on human empathy and face-to-face. But for me, I see the evidence I couldn't otherwise see.
Right.
When I see the raw delivery of a text to people, back and forth. I know you love her and I know you want to patch it up. And so somebody be the bigger person, just try it in person. But in person, try it in person. Make her try it in person. If she's really being stubborn like that. Because, it's obvious to me that this is a very painful thing for everyone. And it would just be so much better. And part of the first step to making it better is getting this out of the way. So I'm going to get it out of the way. But after that, you're on your own. And you guys are living, listen, your friends are the family you choose, right? I love my family, don't get me wrong. But
takes a village, man.
Right. Takes a village. Especially the way you guys, with the mess of kids you guys have, and then the age, the fact that they're close in age, especially the 1-year-olds. It could be the most wonderful thing, or it could be the worst thing, or it could be a temporary wonderful thing.
Been a little bit of both.
Right. And let's try to make it. Let's everybody be better. Everybody just do better and be better. for the sake of your children, but also, frankly, for the sake of your sanity.
Right.
Because you should be in the position to help each other out, not hurt each other, right?
Absolutely.
Good luck, folks. My verdict in this case, after I take out the hood, the damage, and it is expensive because body work is expensive. That's the
I don't
problem.
know that.
Yeah, I do. Right? It's $984.57. Verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you so much for watching today's courtroom breakdown here on Mr. B Plays. We'd love to hear your thoughts on everything that happened in this case. Do you agree with the arguments presented? What stood out to you the most? Share your opinion in the comments section below. We read every comment and enjoy hearing your perspective. If you found this video informative and enjoyable, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest courtroom coverage and case updates. Thank you for your support, and we'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay informed and take care.